Hello and welcome to Psych 321 Research Methods. This is the fall 2018 semester. I'm Dr. Eric Landrum from the Department of Psychological Science at Boise State University. This screencast is specifically for Section 3 of the course, which meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 o'clock in the morning in Riverfront Hall in room 102B. And so what this screencast is meant to do is kind of give you a course overview. We're going to spend a little bit of time going over the syllabus, and then I'll switch over briefly to the Blackboard site and kind of give you a quick preview. And then we'll be good to go. And what this does for us is that rather than me kind of going over the syllabus the first day of class and walking you through it using class time, that'll actually free up class time to do other things. And that's a little bit of a preview of the philosophy of the flipped classroom. Things that we might typically do inside of class time, hopefully you'll be doing outside of class so that we can do things together in class and use that time wisely. And more on that, not only in this screencast, but as the semester goes on. So there's some pertinent information here on the screen as we're going to scroll through this here in a minute. You can see my contact information, my email. My office is in the Education Building, room 619. Office hours are by appointment. Please email me and we'll set something up that's convenient for you. So I do that on purpose, not to give you a chore or to have more hassle, but I really enjoy talking with students, and rather than me set my office hours at something convenient for me, you know, something, oh, how about 4 to 7 on Fridays, which is probably convenient to no one, including me, to be honest. I would rather you look at your schedule, send me some days and times, and we'll figure it out that way. And so I will have plenty of times to be available to meet for office hours. I just don't want to limit them by, putting up 3 hours a week and not being available. You can see the course description there. It is right out of, the course catalog. You can see this course learning outcomes, this table. I'm actually not going to read these for you. You can read them yourself. But I want to point out to you that on the left side of the table, you can see the course learning outcomes that I have for you. And the stem of those start out with, by the end of this course, each student should, and then you can see how that sentence ends on the left side. But importantly, on the right side, you can see how will I figure out whether or not you've achieved those course learning outcomes. And so the right side is really for me telling you about my assessment method, and the left side's for you. Those are my goals for you by the end of this course. And so you can read through those if you want to ask me questions about those. Actually, I was going to say first week of class, but actually anytime during the semester is fine. And so you can kind of get an overview by reading those what our semester will be like together if you are curious about the future, or you can take it day by day, however you would like to go. You can see the materials that I've scrolled up to here on your screen. And so there's really 2 items that are required. The textbook by Beth Morling, published in 2017, the 3rd edition of her book, Research Methods in Psychology, Evaluating a World of Information by Norton. And this is an awesome textbook. I've been reading it, getting ready for the semester to start. I'll be giving you little quiz type, multiple choice type items probably near the beginning of class for a couple of reasons. First off, to make sure that you're reading it. Secondly, near the beginning of class to get you to class on time. And we'll be using not really clickers, but like clicker type software called Poll Everywhere. And I'll be telling you about that in a few moments. I'm not going to be in your dorm room or your home or your apartment watching you read, so I'm never really going to know if you read, but I'm telling you that you'll do better in this course. You'll understand the course material better. You'll be a more successful psychology major if you take this book seriously and you actually read it and understand it. And when you don't understand it, you come to class and you ask questions about it. I have designed this class in such a way that if you have questions about the material, we're going to have time in class. Because I'm not going to be, hopefully, not lecturing to you in class. All of my lectures are already posted on YouTube. You'll be watching my lectures outside of class time so that we have inside of class time to be doing things together, working on assignments together. For example, we'll be doing that starting the first day of class this coming Tuesday, August 21st. So that's a little bit on the philosophy of the textbook. And then also you'll want to bring to class every day a web-enabled device. It could be a smartphone, a laptop, an iPad, a tablet. It could be whatever works for you. If you don't have that, it could even be a cell phone that has texting capability. We'll be using Poll EV or Poll Everywhere software. That's going to be free to you. I have paid for it, so it's free to you, and I'll tell you more about that when we're together. If you want to try to go ahead and install it, there's instructions here later on in the syllabus. If you want to wait till we're together on Tuesday, that's okay too. I'll walk you through it. Again, the luxury of having time to be working together during our class period. I'm also going to recommend to you the APA publication manual. This is the one with the blue cover. It's the 6th edition. Make sure you have the second printing or later, and we can talk about that when we're together. And actually, quite honestly, this is a book that I would recommend that once you buy it, you keep it, because you're going to need it later in other courses. You're going to need it for capstone, at least if I'm teaching the capstone section that you end up taking. There's other books that you could use. There's all kinds of books that help with APA format. It's a cottage industry. I've actually got 2 little homes in that cottage industry, so to speak. But this is the granddaddy. This is kind of the Bible, small b. This is the one that we use, and so I do recommend it, that you have it. Okay, class requirements. You are regarding attendance. You are cordially invited to all class sessions. Missing a single class session may mean missing out on practicing and applying concepts from your readings and YouTube lectures to relevant topics. So here's the thing. There's not going to be tests. There's not going to be a midterm and a final in the traditional way that you might be used to it. And so it's not the traditional, I'm lecturing to you, you're taking notes furiously, and then you're going to memorize and regurgitate like on a multiple choice exam. And so when I don't have that kind of carrot stick relationship with students, that means, and I do not mean this as a cliche, I become a designer of instructional experiences, meaning that I have to make class so interesting and so valuable to you that I lure you. Now, I can have some points there with some quiz questions to make sure that you're reading, but I want to make it valuable to you. So the way I'm doing this is that I want us to be working together in class. I want us to be working together in advance on homework. And so if you're confused about something, if you don't really know what to do on the next homework assignment, the best thing to do is come to class. A couple things. First off, if you're confused about a homework assignment, somebody else is. And so come to class, because you get a chance to ask a question or somebody else will beat you to it. That's a great way to use your time. And secondly, you already know you have that time in your schedule. So rather than, trying to make extra time to go get help or to contact me, and by the way, I would make that time to help you, it's already built in. And so we will always be working ahead. And so when we meet on Tuesday, we'll be looking ahead to what's due on Thursday, and we'll have class time on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, August 21st, when we meet, we'll have time in class to work on what's due on Thursday, August 23rd. All right. So I want to actually reward people coming to class by getting ahead on what's next. And so that's going to be the idea there. So that's what I have there in the box. Each class period is designed such that you'll have time to work on something meaningful, or I'm going to demonstrate something. I'm going to show you something. So if you're confused about an SPSS homework assignment, I'm going to show it to you live on the screen together. Missing class means missing out on understanding an assignment, or missing out on understanding the big picture about what it means to successfully apply research methods to the real world. Okay, so hopefully I'm trying to convince you it's important to come to class. Have I mentioned it's important to come to class? Okay. All right. Yeah, if you have mobile technologies available to you, please bring them to class. Most assignments are uploaded via Blackboard, but on occasion you'll want to bring paper drafts to review. We'll be working on things like the first sentence of your introduction section. We'll be working together on paper. No notes are available concerning class sessions. You cannot make up missed Poll Everywhere points. You are responsible for the timely completion of all work regardless of your attendance. If you add this course late, you are still responsible for all work. As a courtesy to your classmates and to your instructor, please turn the ringer off on your cell phone or any other device that makes noise. Please use technology wisely and minimize your distraction of others when you do utilize technology. No animals are allowed in the classroom without prior instructor consent. So as we get going in the classroom, if you want to come back and ask me, why do I have all these details in my syllabus? Do that, because there's usually a story behind why do I have this animal line? Ask me about that sometime. It's actually kind of an interesting story. And there's a couple of examples there why I had to finally break down and add the animal disclaimer. I'm not anti-animal. It's just a couple of really odd things happened in my teaching career where I thought I better add that just so that everybody knows what to expect. All right, so assignments. This is going to be a really quick overview. Again, that's what the idea of the screencast is, just to kind of give you a heads up going in the weekend before the semester. If you're curious about this and you get a chance to watch the screencast. So I've already mentioned Poll Everywhere. That's going to be software. We won't use it every day, but almost every day. On the days that we don't use it, you'll probably be handing in a piece of paper. That's how you get some participation points. If I ask you a factual question, say from the textbook or from the YouTube video, to get credit for that, you'll have to get it factually correct. You'll have to get the right answer. If I ask you an opinion question, then all you got to do is answer with your opinion and you'll get a point for that. So sometimes you're going to forget your web-enabled device. Sometimes you're going to be absent. You might have to travel for work. You might get called into work. You might be an athlete. You have to travel with your team. You might be in the band. You might be on the debate team and have to travel. It's okay. I've built the class in such a way where missing a little bit of class will not hurt your Poll Everywhere points. I'm going to have to miss class from time to time. I'll have travel. I might be sick this semester. That happens to everybody. So if you rough it out, about 15 weeks in the semester, 150 Poll EV points, about 10 points a week, about 5 points every class period, meeting twice a week. So I'm going to ask at least 180 possible chances or options to earn Poll EV points. That's the minimum. You can earn a maximum of 150. So that's about 6 days. So that's about 3 weeks of class. So you could miss about 6 days or about 3 weeks of class. And and as long as you're going to all the other classes in the semester, that's not going to hurt you. It's chronic absences. If you're missing a month of class in a 4.5-month semester, then it's going to start to hurt you. So you've got a buffer. You don't have to panic if you forget your cell phone one day. You don't have to panic if you have to be out for a week because you're traveling with the football team or the debate team. It's okay. If things happen beyond that, then you just talk to me privately and we'll figure it out. I think you will. I hope you'll figure this out, that I'm pretty reasonable, and I'm actually rooting for you and rooting for your success. All right. If you want to go ahead and download the software, by the way, the download should be free, obviously. Then you can go ahead and do that. If you want to wait because you like help with that kind of thing, you can go ahead and wait till Tuesday or Thursday next week. That's fine. The details are there, probably the bit.ly section 3, and that is case specific. You can go ahead and do that beforehand, or you can wait and we'll do it together. Later in the semester, we'll circle back and we'll talk more about the CITI, the City Online Training. There is important ethics commitment in research methods. You're going to be collecting data from human participants in our Psych 101 Survey of Psychological Science course, and so you'll actually have to complete this online training. You'll have to hand in a paper copy of a completion certificate. The training is free. It's a 2-hour thing. You can log in, log out. We'll talk more about the details, but please do note the last line of this in bold. If you fail to complete this assignment, you will fail the course. So the ethics piece of this is very serious. We won't let you be collecting data with human participants until you pass the ethics section. So again, we do take this pretty seriously. You're going to be reading journal articles, maybe perhaps for the first time. I don't know that, but you're going to have at least some practice doing that. And so we'll be practicing that early in the semester. I'm going to show you a note card method for writing journal article, at least the introduction section of your own journal article, so to speak, or at least a manuscript that's going to mirror a journal article. You'll actually be doing that in class and outside of class. And so we're going to have class time to be working on that together, and I will show you that. You're going to make 2 very brief presentations in class during the semester. I do hope this is something that you won't panic about. The first in-class presentation is going to be 2 minutes long. The second in-class presentation is also going to be 2 minutes long, and that's going to happen during your final exam period. And so it's very structured. It's a 2-slide, 2-minute presentation. We don't do any clapping in between. It's meant to be low-key, low stress. I give you the structure of the slides. Again, it's a little bit of a way to practice those oral communication skills. We practice identifying independent and dependent variables, things like that. We're going to be practicing with a statistical software program called SPSS, and it's hard for me to know if you know about that or not. Don't worry about it, but some of that practice, it's a little bit more, I was going to say fun, but I'm not so sure anybody thinks that's fun. It's a little bit more interesting, or at least it keeps your interest to you be using real data rather than fake data. So I'll have you do a very brief survey on Qualtrics, that survey software, and then we'll use that data for some of our practice data in SPSS. And that's what this is called, this little self-analysis data, where you'll be analyzing data on yourselves as a class. And I'll give you some pass-fail points for doing that as we collect data. There'll be other data collection, that's from the Psych 101 subject pool, and I will give you some credit for generating the items that you do for them. That statistics homework I've already kind of mentioned. There's SPSS again. You'll be doing 6 homework assignments. Again, I know I'm going over this really quickly. That's why I'm just giving you a preview. And again, you can come back at any time and ask me during the semester. Each weekend during the course, and that includes the holiday weekends and things like that, I'm going to ask you to reflect either on something about the course or something about the major. These will actually go live on Friday at 12:01 a.m. and they go dark, they go away from Blackboard Sunday evening at 11:59 p.m. And the reason I do this is pretty clear, to me at least, is that the literature on getting good at writing proficiency and acquiring that skill says the more you practice, the better that you get. And so this is just a little way to, one, kind of keep you connected to the course, because it's Tuesday, Thursday, and on Thursday I don't see you again for 5 days, which, I'm guessing you're okay with. But I'm gonna miss you, and so. But more importantly, I want you to keep practicing, thinking about not only the course but also your major, and and we'll talk a lot about this during the course. And so these are going to be things where I'm just asking your opinion. You don't have to go look up anything. You don't study for these. These are pretty much graded pass-fail. And so it'll be things either asking you about the course and how you're doing, checking in on you, or it'll be asking you about your career path, your career goals, your aspirations, that kind of thing. So it's pretty straightforward, and you have that 3-day, 72-hour period from Friday in the wee hours till Sunday near midnight. The signature assignment, what I call that in this course, is an APA manuscript, and so there's not going to be big major exams. There's not essay questions or things like that. Really, the course is centered around modeling how to think like a psychologist and how we might design a study that centers on survey research. And so you're going to come up with an idea. You're going to generate hypotheses. You're going to formulate survey items. You're going to pilot test them. You're going to administer them to students enrolled in Psych 101. You're going to analyze them using SPSS. You're going to do a write-up of a results section. You're going to end the semester with a writing sample that's going to have a cover page, a title page, abstract, an introduction, method, results, discussion, reference citation section, and a table at the very end. And you're going to have a product, and I love that about this course. You're going to have something to show for this course by the end of the semester. So you will have a writing sample either for those job applications when you go into the psychology workforce, or you'll have a writing sample perhaps for graduate school admissions applications before you go to graduate school and then enter the psychology workforce. And so you're going to write a rough draft that's going to be graded of all of those sections that I just mentioned. And then you're going to do it all again as a final draft at the very end of the semester in December and that's going to be kind of the culminating signature product that you leave this course with. During our final exam, it's going to be really low key. You're going to make that second 2-minute presentation with those 2 slides. It is going to be very low key, but do make sure that you're there. So don't book a flight home. Don't, have the car running in the parking lot to leave before our final exam, because if you do, you'll see the penalty there. It's going to cost you a letter grade. So the final exam is that presentation. We try to wrap it together. So be sure to follow that instruction. In fact, you're going to see in a little course calendar here, I've already got it. And it's early in the week, so odds are you're going to have classes that have finals Wednesday and Thursday. So if you're leaving Tuesday, you want to leave Tuesday before noon, wow, that's good for you. Hang out until noon at least of finals week on Tuesday so that you can attend and not cost yourself a letter grade in this course, for goodness sake. All right. Just a little bit of a note on handing in assignments, and this really won't matter to you a lot. It matters to me a great deal. I'm teaching 2 sections of research methods this semester, a Monday, Wednesday section 2, and then you guys, Tuesday, Thursday section 3. That's going to be cause me a great deal of confusion, so you have to help me. So when you upload any file to me in this course, I'm going to need you to use this file naming system. So because sometimes I'll download files, I'll grade them offline, and I'll upload them back. And so imagine if you were to write your results section and you called your Microsoft Word file results. Okay. And so I download the 35 people in this course, the 35 people in the other course, and I grade these 70 result sections. Now I go to upload them again so that you can see your feedback and your grades, and the feedback will be in track changes. Microsoft Word, you can imagine the chaos it would be if they're all the same file name results. And so I need you to follow my own personal anal retentive tendencies, and follow the example there at the top of page 5 where it says Psych 321-003, that's your section number, 1 or 2 word description, result section, and then your first and last name. You don't need to add the .doc or .docx because Microsoft Word will automatically do that for you. And yes, please do Microsoft Word. Please use Microsoft Word only. Don't use OpenOffice. Don't use Mac Pages. If I can't open it, I can't grade it. All right, because I want to give you feedback as quick as possible. Please don't give me a Google Doc that I can't open. You can use Microsoft Word for free on campus, and I believe every student can download Microsoft Word for free, either for a Mac or Windows through OIT and through the benefits that you have by being a Boise State student. And again, if you have questions about that, ask me anytime during the semester when we're together in class. Okay, grading policy and grading scale. Grades are based on total points that you accumulate. I just add them up, and then I go to this grid that you can see here on the screen. There is a penalty for being late. It's 25% off of the graded score. All of your assignments are due at 9 a.m. because our class starts at 9 a.m. Almost everything's going to be handed in by Blackboard, so it's all going to be time-stamped, so there's never going to be much of a debate. Occasionally, there's a couple times you'll hand something in by paper. That's going to be due at the beginning of class. So if you walk into class, I've already collected everything, and then I've set them down, and you come in, you give me something else, that's going to be late. That's how that works. The window for turning in things is 72 hours. So if something's due Tuesday at 9 and you happen to be late, you've got 72 hours to turn it in. So, I mean, you might as well go ahead and take as much time as you want within that 72 hours. But after that 72 hours, then the opportunity is gone. So in fact, on Blackboard, the link will actually disappear. You won't actually even be able to see the link to upload something because it will go away. And that'll be a 0. You won't be able to earn points for that assignment. Any evidence or suspicion of academic dishonesty is dealt with seriously by me. No work is accepted after the semester. Incomplete is not an option. And note, I typically do not use the plus minus grading system. I believe it's a detriment to students, therefore I don't use it. If you want to ask me about that in class sometime, I'd be happy to give you my rationale for that. You can see the grading scale there. Again, I just add them up. I use a 90, 80, 70, 60. I don't do percentages. Don't play that game with yourself. You're just going to drive yourself crazy. Again, I don't use pluses and minuses. On page 6 is kind of the summary of how you earn them and how they all add up to 1,000 points. You can see Pull Everywhere, the City Online Training, the journal article summaries, that note card method, and notice here the note card method ends with the rough draft introduction. That's 100 points. And by the way, that's 10% of the course total, which means that's a letter grade. And so that's meant to get your attention. That's a pretty important writing assignment. That's why we're going to spend 6 weeks leading up to that. That's why we're going to spend a fair amount of time in class practicing different pieces and parts of it, so that by the time you're writing that, you have already written a great deal of it and gotten feedback in class because you're coming to class and you're getting feedback about it. You can see the self-analysis data, the in-class presentations, those 6 homework assignments I've mentioned to you, the data collection, the weekend reflections, then the remaining parts of the APA manuscript. That all adds to 1,000 points. Academic dishonesty. So I really do encourage you to work together on assignments in this class. So for example, when you're over, you can go over to the lab and you can work on SPSS, and let's say you're doing your correlation homework. I mean, seriously, if you're doing problem number 1 on the correlation homework, in theory, every student in the course should get the exact same answer, and hopefully it's correct, right? So it's okay for you to do your homework, your buddy to do his or her homework, and then you double check, did you get it? No, did you get this? That's okay. And so if you get the same answer and you check with each other, that's not cheating. What would be cheating would be if one person does it, Xeroxes it, makes a copy of it and hands it to the other. That would be cheating. So if you're each doing your own work but double checking with each other, that's fine. Okay, in fact, I encourage you to do that. But just make sure that you're each sitting at your own computer terminals, sitting in front of your own machine, and you're each doing your own work. You're typing up your own sentences individually. So you can see that the text there, the Office of Student Rights and Responsibilities. You can see, you can go look at the link if you want to, but the policies for academic dishonesty. I will follow the Boise State policies specifically and to the technical extent. And so if something does happen, I will file it. I have to. It's the fairest thing to do for all students and all faculty members involved. And so if you have any questions about that, we can certainly talk about it. Sometimes in a class where there's intense writing, there are threats, there are concerns about plagiarism. We can certainly talk about that as well. What happens in this class because of the note card method is that plagiarism is pretty rare, because I'm actually going to see you piece together every part of your paper. And so because of that, there's not a lot of surprises, because I'm going to see a rough draft of every piece of the paper. So, one of the good part of this is that you will likely not have a very good chance to plagiarize. Not that you would, but this method kind of almost prevents against that. That's good for you, and it's good for me too as an instructor. Okay, we're kind of getting to the end of this before we kind of click over and take a quick peek at the Blackboard site. Student responsibilities. You're responsible for the completion of all assignments, regardless of your attendance in the course or not. Always keep a backup file of all assignments and materials in the course. Things are wonky sometimes. Technology, Blackboard is an electronic medium. Just keep a copy just in case something happens. I do encourage you to collaborate with fellow students when appropriate. I just mentioned that. However, due to the nature of this 300 level course, there is no makeup work, there's rarely extra credit, and there are no excused absences. If at some point you need special considerations, please discuss it privately with the instructor. Any student who encounters any problem with any aspect of this course should not hesitate to talk with me as soon as possible. If you disagree with the policies described in this syllabus, you should drop the course. to remain in the course is to accept the policies as stated herein and those stated during the semester by the instructor. I know this sounds very legalistic, but I think it's truth in advertising. You kind of know what you're getting yourself into. Have your lawyer look at it, get in touch with my lawyer, and we should be good to go. Here's the caveat, the small print, so to speak. Things happen during a semester, so I reserve the right to make changes. If there are big changes, I'll let you know via your official Boise State email account or via a Blackboard announcement, excuse me. All right, and so page 8 is maybe one of those that you might want to actually print out. It's going to have the weeks, our Tuesday, Thursday dates, reading assignments out of the Moreline textbook. It's also going to have kind of an overview of the topics that we'll be covering in the course and the YouTube videos I want you to watch. You see that blank in week 1 because I'm recording this one right now. By the time you see the PDF syllabus, that'll be filled in with the link to the thing I'm recording right now. I know it's kind of weird, right? That's kind of a, I don't know if you're watching Netflix these days, but a Black Mirror, if you're watching that, I'm doing this kind of link within the link, forward loop, backward loop thing. Don't overthink that. Just let it go. And so you can kind of see the plan. There's a lot of reading towards the beginning of the semester, a lot of watching towards the end of the semester. There's lots of writing and rewriting, and so things will kind of lighten up towards the end of the semester. So you can kind of see the plan for that. Page 9 is also one of these that, I know you might be trying to save paper, but this one might be worth the piece of paper for sure. This is going to give you every due date for the entire semester. So if you like to have that advanced plan, put that in your calendar. If you have an employer that's sometimes not overly friendly with, hey, I've got a big paper coming up, can you, if you need to have advanced planning for things like that, I think this is going to help you with that. It's going to give you every due date for every assignment in this course. And so you can see the city online training, journal article summaries, everything's here. And you can ask me about this, but I just wanted to kind of make you aware of that today. And then the rest of this are things that we'll come back to as needed during the semester. The next 5 pages or so are really about that template for writing that signature assignment, the manuscript. And so I'm just going to kind of scroll through this. And then the very last page of this syllabus will be something that you will need to print because you're going to hand this in with that city program completion certificate. And that is going to be this researcher signature page, because you're going to actually go off and read another document. You're going to staple those two together on a certain date in the semester. You're going to hand these 2 in, and that's going to be your ethics assurance that you have to pass the course. All right, so now I'm going to pause for a minute, and I'm going to switch over and just give you a really brief overview of the Blackboard site. Sorry for that jump there. So this is an approximation of the Blackboard site. A couple of things. First off, the course hasn't gone live yet because I wanted to record this video. Secondly, this is the instructor view, so you're seeing a couple things that you won't see in the student view. But it's a pretty straightforward site. I don't use all the bells and whistles. I try to, I guess, be a little bit of a minimalist and just kind of use the things I think are necessary. Your Blackboard site's always going to open to announcements. This will be a permanent announcement, and this will be like I said, the opening screen. So here's the welcome. Then it's followed by assignments, and so I will populate these. I try not to overwhelm you. You can see that there are 2 there. So when you come to class on Tuesday, August 21st, my plan is by the time that class period is over, you'll have what you need to go straight to Blackboard and fill out the project idea assignment due the 23rd. You come to class on the 23rd, on Thursday, you'll have a really solid idea what's due that following Tuesday, the 28th. And so we'll use class time to prep for what's coming up. And if you have questions, the best way to get clarity on the next assignment is to come to class, because I'll either answer your questions or ideally what we'll do, we'll work on it together so that you'll know what you're doing before you leave class. And so should minimize confusion as you leave class and go to work on things or finish them up. So that's the idea. Under the Resources tab, you will always find come on, resources. The syllabus will be probably posted permanently there up top, and you can see it's there now. There'll be a link to the screencast after I finish it and post it to YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. You can see the short instructional videos there. I have 9 videos about APA format because I'll demo all this for you in class if necessary. But what I discovered over the semesters is that people would forget about how do I set those margins again? So I've got a short little less than 5-minute APA format video on how to set the margins. Okay. And so that's all on YouTube. I've also got YouTube tutorials on each of the SPSS homework assignments, as well as how to start it up and how to navigate the data entry piece of it. So that's there as well. There's a couple other resources if you keep scrolling. How to read a journal article, how to write with rigor and flair, guidelines for the subject pool, and that list will get longer as the semester goes. Again, I have no interest in overwhelming you. I'll post things kind of as needed and as they come up. Now, again, I mentioned weekend reflections. If I click on this, there's not going to be anything there because it's not a weekend yet where you need to do something. So the first one that'll pop up will be, let me do the math, Friday the 24th, and it will be available until Sunday the 26th at 11:59 p.m. So Monday at 12:01 a.m. it'll go away. So right now there's nothing there. It'll only be available when it's the weekend, technically from Thursday night, 2 minutes after midnight, right, 1 minute after midnight until the wee hours of Monday morning or Sunday, 11:59 p.m. I don't want to make that confusing. You know what I mean. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, essentially. And finally, the last thing that's here, well, actually 2 things are here. Your grades, that's where you're going to click to find your grades. But finally, the last thing I wanted to show you is going to be all the links to the YouTube videos. You can see the blank one there because I'm recording that right now. And also, if you want, when you go to my YouTube channel, if you want to, you can subscribe if it makes it easier to get there. And there's a Psych 321 playlist. You'll have to be careful with this particular one, syllabus and course overview, because I recorded a separate one for my other section only because, you know, the days are different, the assignment deadlines are different and things like that. So make sure, obviously all semester long, that you're looking for section 3 because your deadlines are different too. So anyway, I wanted to show you the course. I wanted to show you, kind of give you a little bit of philosophy, what's to expect, and clearly we'll be going over this as we meet throughout the semester. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Come with questions, and I'll see you then.